It's Market Day Report. Let's jump into the markets. We're starting with the cotton market, though. Triple-digit gains. Look at the December. Now, it hasn't hit 80 cents yet, but it's knocking on the door. We're within 4 points of the session high, which was 79.88. We're trading 79, now 85. It's up 210. Hang on. By the way, the limit here for cotton is 3 cents. So this 216 points now that we go to a new high at 79.91 here on the session. As high as we can go is just 3 cents, and we're trading a little over 2 cents higher in cotton. Let's go to the wheat market and Chicago, 14 1/4 higher on July. We're at the top end of the trade range here. This is a 17-cent trade range, 610 1/4, now back to 610. Hard red, it's up 11 3/4. We've been as high as 646. We're at 645 1/2 right now. How about the corn market? Are we seeing a rally like we're seeing in these others? Well, we're a nickel higher, 418 3/4, trading in an 8-cent trade range on the old crop. D's at 447 3/4. It's up 5 1/4. And then we have soybeans here. The new crop November up 5 1/4. 1151 3/4. Okay, as we get into, these are the row crops, but are we affected by outside markets and outside headlines and news? Ken Zuckerberg is Director of Global Research, CHS Market Advisors. Ken, great to see you. We're in front of, let's see, it's less than 3 hours before we get the decision on FOMC. What are we watching here?
So, Tony, the Fed is meeting today, and as you know, last week we had a very, very hot print for inflation, both in the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and the PPI, the Producer Price Index. Immediately following that, markets were beginning to change the narrative on raising rate hikes, right? Raising rates to effectively contain this inflation. We're in a little bit of a pickle here. We actually think the rate hike argument is weakening now short term because we have a few things that are pending. First, the Iran-US peace negotiation. The Strait of Hormuz opening has been deflationary now for energy. So said differently, crude oil has come down and prices at the pump have come down. Next, we have some relief from tariff pressures. Those are actually more in the range of 7.5% now versus the 15 to 20 blended that we heard about last year. We have cooling shelter costs and in the near term, moderating wage growth. Wage growth is still increasing, but it's moderating. So when we shake this all up and think about what the near term is, yes, most people expect no rate action today. I'm in that same camp. But the dynamic is if inflation continues to, pull back because of Iran-US deal, it's going to be a very, very interesting next few months in terms of those discussions about rate decreases.
Okay, and that's here domestically, but we can look over at Japan and see that they've raised rates. And did I read right in, I think, Switzerland? Might have raised rates as well?
So we had the ECB last week. That's the one that I was very focused on, as well as Japan. These countries are both looking at much higher energy prices, right? So they preemptively moved, and now we have that deal with, or the memorandum of understanding with Iran. So there's a few things to note. First, raising rates the level they did was sort of an initial one. It's not going to contain the inflation. If inflation works out to eventually go down, look, could they be in a little bit of pickle of tightening? 25 basis points is not terribly restrictive, but it is a statement. With Japan, I think the situation is a little more complicated. Japan, you have to look at the fact that the population is aging. You have an environment where it's more dependent on Middle East energy versus the U.S. So I think the dynamics might be a little different there. I would say if I had to, call where things go, Friday, we're supposed to get the MOU signed. We're going to have markets reacting to energy prices. I think that's going to influence the ECB and Japan in the next two meetings. So right now, we're just paying attention to the data, and beyond what people are saying and what leaders are saying, we want to actually see those, ships move out of the strait to get confirmation that this is real.
Wow, great insight. Ken, thanks for your
I'd
time.
rather talk about the corn market, Tony. To be honest, it's great to see it up today, and little China coming in to buy. But they have me doing the complicated things for the moment.
Well, we appreciate the complicated things, and we'll come back, and next time we'll talk corn. It's Ken Zuckerberg, CHS Market Advisors. Speaking of coming back, we're coming back on the other side. We'll talk proteins on Market Day Report.